days, huh? Well, open is open. Now, that's a word that hasn't been used much in the world these days, huh? Well, open is looking good for Dubai right now. And we want to tell the world about it. It's open for business. And there's literally hundreds of doors open to some of the best hotels you've ever seen. Oh, and the world's tallest building? Yep, that's open too. But this city is also open for fun. It's open for happy, open for crazy. Even the slopes are open. It's open for a guaranteed suntan and a dip in its beautiful, clear, warm waters. It's open for the arts and Arabian culture that you really need to experience, which means it's open for bucket lists too. But if opening boxes is all you want to do, there's more of that than you can possibly imagine. There's out in the open air, across open water, or if you just want to hit the open road full of hope and optimism. This is an open society, so it's up to you. This city has its arms wide open, and they're open for you. You get it? I think you do.
Canada's Immigration Department has confirmed most new express entry applications will be processed in 6 months prior to the pandemic. The Canadian government aimed to process most express entry immigration applications within 6 months. Due to the pandemic, however, applicants have had to wait much longer on Canadian Experience Class Express entry applicants are waiting well over 20 months on average for Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada to finalize their permanent residence applications. Fortunately, IRCC has recently confirmed it will soon be processing most new express entry applications within 6 months. This will take effect once IRCC resumes express entry invitations to Federal Skilled Worker Program (CEC) and Federal Skilled Trades Program candidates in early July. The normalization of express entry in early July is major news for several reasons. First, express entry is the main way IRCC welcomes skilled workers to Canada. Permanent residence invitations to FSWP candidates have been temporarily paused since December 2020, while CEC candidates have not received invitations since September 2021. But resuming invitations for these two programs will provide hundreds of thousands of candidates with the opportunity to achieve their goal of gaining Canadian permanent residence. The resumption of draws is also welcome news for Canadian employers. Statistics Canada reports Canada has over 800,000 job vacancies and its lowest unemployment rate on record. Employers need more immigrant talent to help address their worker shortages. Express entry is returning to normal and most new applications will be processed within 6 months, means that employers will have access to more talent in the near future, which will be crucial to supporting Canada's post-pandemic economic recovery. Getting processing times back to 6 months is also notable for immigration candidates, since express entry will once again become the quickest way for skilled workers to get Canadian permanent residence. Processing times for the over 100 other economic class immigration pathways offered by Canada to exceed 6 months. As such, it is in your interest to prepare your express entry profile in time for the return of all program draws come early July. You should be mindful, however, that it takes time to prepare and upload your profile onto IRCC's website, so you should consider
So hi doctors, I welcome you all to this webinar today. And we'll be talking about the abroad pathways that are available for us dentists here. And you will have a Q&A session at the end. It will be live. You can note down your questions and then ask away at the end. Okay. So this is Dr. Maika Mariam on this side, and I'll be host for this webinar today. And I am looking forward to help you understand how you can go abroad, especially to the Gulf and Canada, because I myself have gone through both of the pathways, and I just got my PR visa last month by God's grace. So I want you all to understand how you can do the same or whatever pathways are available at your disposal. So today we'll be looking into, like I said, the Gulf and the Western side. Now see, Western side, we have Canada, we have the US, we have Australia and the UK. But okay, I'll give you a glimpse of each country here. See, if you want to work in the US, right, honestly, it's a very tedious procedure, very long procedure, and you have to spend like literally tons of money and effort in order to become a dentist, that is a licensed dentist in the US. So there is something called a J1 internship program. And after you complete that, you get a 1-year stay back where you can apply for jobs. And the employer will help you get the H1B visa, which is not a permanent visa. It's just a visa where you can work for 6 years. Okay. Now, after that, you have to obviously meanwhile apply for the DDS degree as such. And then getting the PR is another long story. So basically, I would completely just keep US aside, unless you are a very, a rich person from a rich family, you can afford to go through the US pathway, then that is good. Next, we have the UK. Even UK, I know so many doctors who opt for the UK. So there is a pathway where you can actually go as a dental hygienist or a dental therapist. So this way, you will be allowed to get a work visa. And after you finish your course, sorry, not the course, you'll be working as a dental therapist. You have few exams before that, which you can write in India itself. And then after that, you'll be going there, working as a therapist for a few years, and then you apply for the PR. Now here comes the tricky part. For UK, if you apply for the PR, it's like literally 50-50 chances that you may get the PR and you may not. So me personally, I would be like confused, like why put in all the effort, time, and obviously the money, the hard-earned money, to a place where I'm not even sure that, okay, will I be able to stay there for lifetime, or I will be kicked out in a few years. So again, that is why we'll be putting UK behind as well. And the third option is Australia here. Australia seems to be a little bit better compared to rest of the countries, UK and the US. That is because Australia, in order to be a licensed dentist there, you have the Australian written exam and the practical exam. Now, the good thing is you can take the written exam in India or Dubai. And after that, for the practical, obviously you need some training in Melbourne or within Australia itself, and you can clear the ADZ exam. So once you get the ADC license, then you can apply for a work permit in Australia, where you have to work in one of the rural areas. Okay. And with that work, 1 year work experience inside Australia, you can further apply for your PR visa. Now, again, this is also a long process. I personally do not prefer anything where I have to spend a lot for the license first, and then I'm going to work on my visa. That is the permission to stay in the country. So that is where we will be focusing on Canada, because mainly if you have seen the video, introduction video, the Canadian Immigration Minister, Sean Fraser, he recently announced that he's going to bring back something called the express entry. Just keep this term in mind, because this is a pathway that is most easy for us dentists to be in Canada. And that too, you'll be directly getting your PR, not, going as a student visa or just, struggling for lifetime to get the visa. You will directly get your PR visa. Okay, so this is why we'll be explaining in today's topic mainly about the Gulf, and then how to get into Canada. And then I'll be talking a little about the NDEB exam, which is the licensing exam for Canada. And then finally, we'll be also talking about IELTS, which is the most crucial part, or the first step that you have to take in order to go abroad, the Western side. So let's focus for a few minutes on the Gulf. See, Gulf is basically the first choice of escape for most of the Indians here, and we all have our chacha or mama, someone in our family or relative in the Gulf. Okay, so if you see Gulf as a whole, you have few countries here. You have the UAE, where literally everyone goes. Then you have Qatar, you have Oman, Saudi, Bahrain, and Kuwait. Now, Bahrain, what happened is last year, I think July 2021, they announced that they will not be taking general dentists from foreign countries into their job criteria. So that job criteria, that is a general dentist one, is completely reserved for Bahrainis only. That is a local. So this thing, right, the localization part, it has already happened in Bahrain, that too in general dentist category. Now, this is slightly going to creep into Oman and Saudi. We already are seeing some forms of Omanization and Saudiization, but it's not like a pakka information. They haven't officially announced that they will not be taking foreigners as of now. So anyone who is planning for Oman and Saudi, as a general dentist, you might want to think twice. If you're going only for a few years, like 3 to 5 years, then it's fine. But if you're planning to stay for a long term, then you might want to look into UAE or Qatar or other countries. So see, anyone who is a BDS or an MDS graduate cannot directly go or work in the Gulf country as such, or apply for the dental license. So what they put in their eligibility requirement is basic 2 years of experience. Okay, if you are looking into UAE, Saudi, and Oman, you need to have at least 2 years of experience after your BDS degree. And if you're looking for Qatar, they actually ask for 3 years experience after your internship. And then Kuwait, though, they ask complete 5 years, that is very much required for Kuwait. But when you are a specialist dentist, that is an MDS graduate, you need to have 2 years of experience after your MDS if you're looking to work in Saudi. And Oman also, now they do allow 2 years experience after MDS. And Qatar and UAE, so you definitely need 3 years. And again, 4 years if you're looking for Kuwait. Sometimes they do even ask 5 years also after your MDS degree. Now, if you have noticed, I've put 3 and 4 for both in Qatar. Now, that is because if you are an oral and maxillofacial surgeon, or if you are a prosthodontist, you do need 4 years of experience. But if you are an endodontist or pedodontist and all those criteria where you don't need advanced experience, like orthodontist also, it is okay to have only 3 years. For ortho, surgeons, and I think prosthodontists, you need 4 years of experience in order to get into Qatar. But Qatar, there is a good side to it. You don't need to have any exam for specialist. Now, now talking about how to actually get into the country, thank God our degree is actually valid or considered in the Gulf countries. Now, all you have to do is the 3-stage process. That is, one is your data flow, second is your credential, and third is your exam. So data flow basically means it's a type of verification where they take in all our documents and then verify each and every document to check if it's fake or actually genuine ones. Okay, so that almost takes 2 months time. Then you have something called credentialing. So credentialing is basically where you have to create a profile of yourself in their system. So whatever you do in the country as a licensed dentist from day one will be recorded in the system. It's not like how we have in India. Any patient you do, any leave you take in a clinic, whichever clinic you join, everything will be in their record. So that is the credentialing part. And then finally, you have the theory exam. So for most of the exams, you have only theory exam, and it's a multiple choice exam. There is no negative marking. If you clear the exam, you are good to have the license. Now, I did talk about this, right? The data flow, credentialing, and the theory exam. That is good for UAE, Qatar, Oman, and Saudi. But when it comes to Kuwait, it's slightly different, because in Kuwait, you need to first get an offer letter. That is, you need to get a job first. And then what we do is we'll hand over all our documents to the employer, okay, to the hospital or the clinic owner. Now they have to go on our behalf to the authority, that is the Ministry of Health or MOH, and then apply our case to them. So we cannot directly go to the Kuwait Ministry of Health and apply for a licensure. The hospital or the clinic has to apply. And then once all the documents are cleared, they will conduct an exam for you. And if you clear that, you are already ready to work in the clinic or hospital where you got the job offer. So something like that, similar with Bahrain also. Now this is I'm talking about Bahrain specialist dentists. So thank God for specialist dentists, they haven't closed the criteria, because I think there is not much specialist dentist in the Bahraini people, among the Bahraini people. So specialist dentists still can go to Bahrain. You can keep that in mind. Now, talking about Gulf exams, so this is where I actually come in. I help doctors go to the Gulf countries. We help with the exam part mainly, and also the licensing process. So like I said, exam is just theory-based exam. You will have about 100 to 150 MCQs, and it's basically clinical-based questions. So in my experience, see, anyone who is having like about 2 years of good experience, hands-on experience on patients clinically, you are good to go for the exam. But only thing is, like, you need to understand how the pattern is or how the questions are, it's pretty tricky how they ask. And after that, you're good to go. A good 2 to 4 months preparation is good to go for the exam. Now, this is again a computer-based exam, but you have centers where you can write the exam. Obviously, we have centers in India as well as in Dubai. Actually, we have centers all over the world. You can choose which center you want and go give the exam there. So that's pretty much about Gulf. It's nothing of a big, head. You just have to go through the processing. It will hardly take you around maximum 4 to 6 months, unless there is some delay in the documentation. But otherwise, if you are planning now, you can get to the Gulf in 3 to 6 months. So I hope you have gotten a basic understanding how to go to the Gulf. So next, we'll move on to Canada part. Okay, so Canada is literally the talk of the era. Now, as I said, why I'm talking about Canada is because, like I said, we have a good opportunity to apply for the direct PR, like instead of spending lakhs of amount in order to go for the education. So I'll explain that how you can get the PR directly. The same process what I have applied. So this is the guy, Sean Fraser. He's the immigration minister of Canada. So what he announced is there is a pathway called Express Entry, where the Canada is looking for people to fill their country. Like Canada is basically void, like empty. They have so much of land, but no people to fill it. So that is why Canada is conducting draws to accept or welcome so many international skilled people to fill in their country, basically. So they had something called Express Entry, through which I applied, but not now, back in 2020. And because of obviously the COVID delay, I got the visa now. So they had stopped that during the COVID time, but now they're restarting it. So this is like a very, very golden or good news for us dentists to apply through the Express Entry pathway. Okay, so let me tell you like what are the benefits of PR. Okay, we are all looking to get the PR of Canada. So the first thing is you actually get free education for your children below 18 years of age. And second is you get free health insurance. I think that includes for your children and for your parents as well, if you're taking your parents there. And then third is if you are on PR, you can apply for your family's PR, that is your husbands or wives or even children's PR directly, without having them having to have a good degree or good IELTS score. You can directly apply for the spouse visa. And fourth, obviously what we all are looking for is the access to high quality of life. That is actually the focus here. And then fifth thing, this is again important. I'll be explaining this when we come to talk about student visa pathway as well. Okay, that is the fees for a PR candidate for joining a college is actually only 1/3 of that of the international student. And sixth is, yeah, you can apply for the Canadian citizenship. That is in 5 years with your PR status, you should have stayed inside Canada for about 3 years of time. So that's about the PR that we are all looking forward to. So now I'll explain the PR pathways that we actually can go as a dentist. So the first is your direct PR and the second is the student visa. Now, whether you want to select direct PR or student visa, that totally depends on what all you have at hand. Okay, so I'll talk about direct PR first. Inside direct PR, right, you have two pathways. One is the FSW, the one that Sean Fraser was talking about, and the one that we have applied. So that is the express entry where, see, this is the whole country of Canada, okay? So FSW is basically the entire country needs a person with your skills, okay, with our BDS degree. And I'm grateful for our BDS degree for that, because they will be looking out for people who are younger age, okay, who have good English knowledge and who have a good degree that is in demand in Canada. Okay, so that is basically your FSW. And then you have something called provincial nomination program. So this is basically, in Canada, you have different provinces, or what we call it as states. Okay, you have British Columbia, you have Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Ontario, Quebec. These are the main ones. And then you have all the small territories and provinces. So what happens is, right, let's say a province like Ontario, we are taking for example. So they are looking for 100 dentists with good English skills. So they'll put a lookout that, okay, we need 100 dentists. We are in deficient of 100 dentists and we want 100 dentists. So what we as international people can do is we can apply for that spot. And that is that province, that is the Ontario provincial nomination. And they will like nominate you. They'll literally pick you from the list of candidates and say, okay, we need this person. And that is how you get your invitation to apply for the PR visa. So that is basically the difference between province and the federal skill pathway. But one small drawback about PNP is like, they'll be giving a period of time where you have to stay in that particular province that they have nominated you for. Now, see, it's not must, but when you are applying for the citizenship, right, if you go there, let's say you are you are called for Ontario, and you don't stay in Ontario, you directly jump into British Columbia, you go to British Columbia, and when you apply for the citizenship, they look at your whatever you have gone through, where all you have been, and they'll see like, okay, this guy was said to be in Ontario, and the moment he landed, he went to British Columbia. So they'll think twice whether to give citizenship or not, because you have kind of broken the rule. So that thing is the only, I wouldn't say drawback. Consider that you're getting to go, and maybe within a given period of time, say 1 year or 1.5 years, you are free to move to any province you like in Canada. Okay, but express entry, you have no restriction. You can be in any part of Canada whatsoever. Okay, so talking about how to actually get into the express entry, or where do you start? See, the express entry, right, they will be conducting draws every 2 weeks. I think 2 draws are conducted in every month. Okay, so they'll put a cutoff score, that is your CRS score, as I've mentioned here. So let's say they put a score of 470. Okay, and anyone who is above 470 will get invitation from Canada that, okay, chalo, you are selected and you can apply for the Canadian PR. So this 470 score that I'm talking about, right, what are the categories or criteria that they select this upon, or they score you upon? So these are the criteria that you see here. One is your age. So anyone between the age of 21 to 29 will have the maximum score in the age criteria. Okay, if you are 30 and above, I think they will reduce about 5 to 10 points for being above 30 or something. Then you have the English test. Okay, so in the English category, English matlab language test. So you can either go for French or English and get a good score in that. And in English, you have, okay, in English, you actually have IELTS, and there is something called a self-pip test. Okay. Excuse me. Okay, so in IELTS, if you have a really good score, you're really good in English and you have a good score, obviously your CRS score, that is your overall score, will get increased. And the third is the education. That is where we come in, because our degree, right, whether be it BDS or MDS, it is actually considered one of the highest degree in Canada. So before we start all of this process, we'll be sending our document or our degree certificate to Canada for equivalency. That is, they need to find out, what our course that we have taken in India or our own country is considered in Canada. That is equivalency process. So our degree, like I said, BDS is considered as a professional degree, which literally gets the highest score and again gets you the highest score in the total CRS score. And third is experience. So you have a criteria for 1 year experience, one score is there. 2-year experience, you have a score, and anything above 3 years is actually the highest score that you can get. And they also look whether you are married or not or single, and this actually is not a drawback or a good thing, but depends on what your spouse is good at. If your spouse can get a good score in IELTS and they do have a good degree, let's say both of you are dentists, and then you can have, they will add the spouse's score along with your CR score and they'll put it together as one score. That means you will be able to score higher if your spouse is also having, good criteria in all of these factors that I have just mentioned. Now, again, obviously, if you are married, you can decide whether you want to apply for the couple visa or a single visa. You can choose to do that as well. And then finally, your stay capabilities, obviously, they expect you to have some fixed deposit amount. I think for single candidate, it's like around 8 to 9 lakhs FD. And then you should not have any police cases, obviously, and then you should be medically fit as general. So that is basically how you apply for the express entry criteria. So like I said, this, you have to look at yourself in all these criteria and decide whether you are eligible for the express entry. Now, next, we'll talk about the student visa criteria. So student visa, basically what we do is we go as an international student. Okay, we take a student visa, select a course and a degree in one of the Canadian universities. We study there for 1 to 3 years, depending on what course you have taken. And after that, anyone who has studied in the Canadian Dental College, they get to stay back for, again, depends on 1 to 3 years, depending on what course you have taken. So during that stay back period, right, 1 to 2 years or 3 years, what happens is you are eligible to both work in Canada and you are eligible to apply for the PR visa. So again, recently what they have done is the Canadian Immigration Department, right? They are focusing on getting their students PR rather than inviting people from outside. So those who ever have gone through student visa, you have no worries of getting PR unless you are involved in some police case or something in Canada. You actually get the PR easily. Like, it's not a confusion state like US, okay, whether you'll get or not, there are 50 chances of rejection, nothing like that. If you are on student visa, then pakka you'll get your PR after that, after your education during the work visa period. So I'll do a quick comparison here so that you can understand whether you want to take the direct PR pathway or the student visa pathway. So if you see the duration, right, direct PR is going to take you somewhere between like 1 year and 1.5 years. Now they are actually planning to keep it or keep the whole processing in 6 months. But I want you to keep at least 8 months to 1 year in mind. So like I said, mine actually took very long. That was because of the COVID. And they are trying to squeeze it and get you the PR within 8 months to 1 year max. Okay, but when it's on student visa, when you go is when there is an intake in the college. So college intakes are usually on every I think September intake, and then you have January intake. Some colleges have more intakes, like they have on January, February, and then they have somewhere in mid of July or something. But usually it's your September and your January intake that you have. Second thing is the expense that you're spending for a visa or to be there in Canada. So direct PR, you will be spending around 3 to 5 lakhs amount. Considering that you will be going through an agent. Okay, so there is their service fee and the actual fee for the PR application. Whereas on student visa, what happens is you have to actually put in your first year fees. That comes like somewhere between, I've seen colleges that charge only 6 lakhs up to 17 lakhs. Okay, so depending on which college and which degree you're taking, whatever the first year fees is, right, that you have to pay when you're going to Canada. Then obviously the PR benefits. If you are on PR, you get all the benefits that we talked about, all the insurance and ability to work full time. When you are on student visa, you don't get any of the PR benefits. Plus, you are eligible to work for only half the time. Let's say a usual PR candidate works for 40 hours per week, and a student can work only 20 hours per week. And if you cross that working hours, right, if you work more because you need more money during the student period, that will affect your PR. So I highly recommend not to go overboard and do something extra that will affect your PR application at the end when you are on student visa. And then direct visa, direct PR, what happens is you actually need experience, right? I told, right, if you have about 3 and above years of experience, definitely it's best to go on direct PR. And if it's less, you have to focus more on your IELTS score so that you get that cutoff score above 470, let's say. But on student visa, there is nothing like experience, nothing is required. After BDS degree, you can directly apply for the student visa and start studying in one of the Canadian colleges. Then direct PR visa, like I said, there is an age criteria where you can score the highest. So 21 to 29 is really good. If you are below 29 and below 29, definitely go for direct PR. If you are above 30, I wouldn't say to completely quit direct PR, but you have to just consider what scores you're getting, provided that you have to get a good score for IELTS. Okay, and PR as a dentist, you'll be landing jobless literally, because as I said, you need the dental license in order to work in Canada as a dentist. So that we are not getting in the beginning. You are getting a PR. So you can work in literally any profession there, but not as a dentist. So this is for people who are okay with not working as a dentist in the beginning for few years until you settle down. Later, you can go ahead and plan for your dental licensing there. But when you're going on student visa, the good thing is you have a purpose there. You are going on a study purpose. You are studying there for 1 or 3 years. And then after that 3 years, right, any which ways you will have a good, a Canadian degree, and you can work in that degree. For example, if you're taking the dental hygienist course, after your dental hygienist 2 years course, that means you are in a dental hygienist profession. Irrespective of whether you are getting the general dentist license or not, you still have the dental hygienist job with you. Okay, so you're not going to be jobless forever. And other thing is the difference between IELTS that you have to take. So direct PR is the easy IELTS, that is a general IELTS. But if you want to go on the student visa, you have to take the harder IELTS, that is the academic IELTS that you have. And last is the education. So this is what I like the most, and my main reason of choosing the direct PR, apart from the expense part. So direct PR, when you apply, right, you get the PR first, okay, then you can get into a college. So what benefit this gives you is that, let's say you're going on international student visa, you're going to pay 15 lakhs for a dental hygienist course. Whereas if you are on a PR, you're getting the PR, landing in Canada, and then you're applying for the hygienist course. Same course, you're going to pay only 5 lakhs Indian rupees. So that's the magic of direct PR. And I love the fact that you can study in Canada and you need to pay only, 1/3 of the fee. You can literally save 10 lakhs rupees. Okay, so that's how you get to Canada. So I hope you have understood direct PR visa and the student pathway. Please keep your questions at the end. We'll be answering that as well. Now let's talk about how to get a dental license in Canada. Obviously, we are dentists. We have to eventually work as a dentist in Canada. So you have two pathways here. Again, see, Canada dental license, you have to either go through the licensing exams pathway, which is 5 exams actually, or what you have to do is you have to do the DDS degree in Canada and then become a dentist over there. So both the ways, right, you have to clear the first test, that is the assessment of fundamental knowledge. So that is the AFK that I have mentioned here. So in AFK, if you are scoring like 75% and above, then you can continue with the rest of the licensing exam, that is your ACJ, NDEC, written exam, and OSCE. Okay, after you clear all these exams, you can literally get your Canadian dental license. But if you're going through the DDS pathway, you need to literally score above 90% for your assessment of fundamental knowledge exam, that is your AFK exam. Now if you do that, you can start applying for all the Canadian dental colleges, and whichever college you get into, they will be giving you a 6 months course for every international student. Now why is this? Because they want to put you directly into the third year of DDS, okay, where you have to do only the last 2 years. So whatever they studied in the first 2 years, right, they will be putting that into a crash course and teaching you within 6 months, so that it rhymes with whatever we have learned in our home country. So that is a 6 months training course, and after that you can join with others in the third year and fourth year batch. So after that you will be in par with rest of the licensing team. That is the written exam, and the OSCE is same for both whoever is going through the licensing pathway and the degree pathway. So only difference is licensing pathway, you have to go undergo ACJ and NDEC. ACJ is assessment of clinical knowledge. So this is basically, they'll give you case scenarios and radiographs and ask you to diagnose the case. They want to see your judgment. How do you judge a case? Okay. And then you have the NDEC. NDEC is basically practical exam. You have the typhos and all of that. You have to do the crown preparation and all the procedures, whatever it is there. And then you have to clear the practical exam. Okay, so you can actually take a screenshot of this. I've, put the flow chart or the pathway here. So what happens is, if you want to become a licensed dentist in Canada, I always suggest that take the PR first. Okay, get sure that they won't kick you out after you get all your DDS license, because you're going to spend tons of money and tons of time to get the dental license. So first, make sure that you have your PR, they won't kick you out. Then you start working on getting your dental licensing. Because as I said, see, all this licensing also, right, it will take you anywhere between 2 to 3 years not to reach the end stage, because all the exams, right, you have to book at least, I think, 8 months ahead just to get the exam date. So that competitive it is in Canada. So it will take you around 3 years. So around say 3 years, plan something that you will do in Canada while you are on the PR visa. Be comfortable with working in other fields of other than a dentist in Canada if you are a PR candidate. Okay, so I hope I don't have to explain this again. You are an MDS or a BDS. MDS, you can get a specialist. Okay, so I'll be explaining in the next slides here. So you get the direct PR visa, or you go through the student pathway. Then after you get your PR, you start working on your AFK, clear the AFK exam, and then you choose whether you want to go through the license or the DDS degree. Then you write the final exam, get the dental licensing degree, enjoy life. Okay, so okay, so this is for specialist dentist. Okay, so specialist dentist, you can actually, after MDS, you can become a specialist in Canada. So that's what I found out. So there is an exam called DSCKE. This is basically an assessment test like AFK for general dentist. So that is Dental Specialty Core Knowledge Examination. So if you clear that, and remember, you have only 2 attempts, so don't play around with this. Train properly for the exam, clear that exam, and if you clear that, you have to undergo the training, whatever course they provide. It is a 12-month training. You don't have to do whole 3 years again. Just do the 12 months training. This is specifically for international students. Okay, so you have something called DSATP, Dental Specialty Assessment and Training Program. It's a 12-month program where they'll train you for the final exam, and then you sit for the NDEB exam. So NDEB exam is same for even a Canadian citizen. They will be studying the course in their college, the normal course, and then they'll be sitting for this NDEB NDSC specialty exam, and then you get the certification and you'll get a provincial license. So this is not provisional. Okay, so listen, there is a difference. Provincial is like state license, your province license. So you'll get an Ontario license or you'll get a Manitoba license. So it is a bit different there. You get a state specific license in that. Okay, now coming to the specialty programs, right? It's actually very competitive when it comes to specialty, because not all colleges in Canada provide specialty, that 12 months training program, right, for specialists. So what they have is thank God all these specialty are accepted or recognized in Canada, but if you see oral and maxillofacial surgery and the OMR, right, that only one university in Canada is having the degree for training you for your final exam, training international students. So you can imagine how competitive that could be. But other specialists, you do have few colleges, most of them two, but also you have 3 colleges where you can apply into for getting your specialty. So again, this is the flow chart for specialist, where you have, see, every time make your PR first, get it, then you apply for rest of the licensing process and you get through it. Now, for the student visa, I've just jotted down a few of the courses that we dentists can do. Again, you can take a screenshot of this. So I had mentioned about stay back, right? So this is very important. If you are doing one of the 8 to 12 months program, that means you get only 1 year stay back. But if you are doing a 2 or a 3-year course, some of these are 3-year course as well, okay? So if you're doing a 3-year course, you get a 3-year stay back, which is actually good. So the more the stay back, the more flexibility or the liberty you have to apply for the PR. So if you have only 1 year, you'll be like, okay, you'll be in stress. Okay, I have to apply for my PR. I have to get PR within 1 year, otherwise I'll be kicked out of Canada. So it's always safe to take a degree that is 2 years at least, where you can get a 2-year stay back or a 3-year stay back directly. Okay, so have you all taken screenshots of this? I'll give a second. Okay, so I had mentioned, I have been stressing about getting the direct PR, right? But at the back of your head, you should be worrying about, okay, what am I going to do in Canada by getting a direct PR? So this is the part where you should be actually comfortable in working in other, professions or jobs until you get your dental licensing. So I'm a person who I'm like, totally okay with working in other fields. I love dentistry, but I'm okay with that until I get my dental license. So if you are okay with that, you can go ahead and apply for the direct PR. So I have listed down with our BDS degree here, when you are on a PR, you can actually do 2 jobs, dental assistant and dental receptionist. That is if you want to work closely with dental field itself. So dental assistant, again, level 1, you don't have to have a course. So keep this in mind. If any agent asks you to take a dental assistant, you don't need it. Okay, when you're taking a course, do something better like masters or something, but don't take a dental assistant course. I know one of my friends who was asked to take dental assistant course, and she paid for that literally. But I was asking, see, we as dentists, we already have the right to work as an assistant. You just have some simple tests and you can already work as a dental assistant. Why spend that amount and then work as a dental assistant after you finish the course? Right? So always have your information right before you do a proper selection. Okay, now coming back to the miscellaneous jobs, obviously, see, one thing I love about Canada is it's a minimum wage country, meaning whatever the job you do there in Canada, you will be getting the minimum wage of $14 per hour. In Canada, it's hourly wages. So $14 per hour, whatever you're doing, you're cleaning or looking after a child or doing an office work, it's same $14. So you can work. I know so many people on student visa, they work as a server at Tim Hortons, like waitress and all. And you can work as a receptionist in any offices, any stores, and social media manager if you're good at technology. And literally you can do any job that you are good at. So obviously you need to have few experience in India or wherever, whichever place you are, and then you're good to go. And I have put truck driver also because I know a dentist who is working as a truck driver. Okay, he is earning literally $50 per hour. I think that is the wage that a dentist in Canada earns as a starter, $50 per hour. So it's not a bad job, it's a high paying job, truck driver. So you can choose any job literally that you want and get into that field until you clear your licensing exam. And then those who are going on study visa, obviously you will have a better job title. You can work as a dental hygienist if you're doing the respective course, can work as a hospital manager, any public health department. There is courses for denturists. If you had taken the screenshot, you can do a course on tech sales specialist, dental technician. All of these and much more you can do after your course in the Canadian college. So I think I'll almost wind my session up. Again, I want to do a quick comparison between Gulf and Canada. Okay, not everyone likes to go to Gulf, not everyone likes to go to Canada. So you can choose what is best for you according to what interests you. So if you see the getaway delay, okay, like today you're planning to move abroad, okay. If you want to go within 6 months, then you should go to the Gulf because it's much easy and the processing can be done as faster as even 3 months. You can start working in the Gulf, provided that you get the job. But Canada, especially on the PR visa, you have to plan, okay, at least 1.5 years, I'm not going to Canada, I'm going to be around here. But after 1.5 years, I am ready to, or I'll get the visa to fly to Canada. And then you have the future plans. See, if you are a person who is so much close to your home country and you want to get back to your home country when you retire, then Gulf is a place for you, because Canada, right? I told about all the benefits of PR, but they are in benefits. You don't get the return in cash form. The taxes in Canada is very high. So whatever you do there, you get the return as benefits. Like, you get, I think there are few free education for even IELTS classes also, or even like children education. So many good things are there in Canada that you get as allowances. For example, I know one of my batchmate who went to Canada. She was working as a receptionist in one of the clinics. So what happened is the COVID hit and she lost her job. And the Canadian government was literally paying that, she was, I think, $17 per hour was her pay. They were paying her for sitting home because she lost her job and she was a PR candidate. So, all these benefits comes with the PR. But otherwise, if you're looking to, save huge amount and settle back in India, it will be a total waste of time because you're investing so much in Canada. It's always best to, bring your family or your parents back to Canada to settle there. Same thing applies for visiting India. One side flight itself is like 24 hours literally, or even more. But Gulf is like hardly 3 hours. You can literally try to come every day also. So that is the difference when you compare to Gulf and Canada. And savings account is the same. If you want a savings account in India, then forget Canada. There is no savings. Gulf also, it's actually a bit deteriorating, but you still can save some amount instead of spending everything in the Gulf itself. And weather is the most crucial part of deciding. If you are someone who cannot tolerate the cold, don't go to Canada. But when you compare Gulf, right, it's like the climate is awesome because most of the time you'll be in air conditioner itself, and weather we can tolerate. But Canada, see, it's not that bad because everyone goes there. So many Indians are there literally, and you'll be wearing all those, I think, 5 to 6 clothes over you, and you will be fine with the weather, and everyone adjusts with the weather or something. So that's totally fine. But if you are someone who hates the snow, then you might have to think again about Canada. And next is total expense, obviously what matters now, because the amount of money that you have to put in order to go abroad. So if you're going to Gulf, it will stay between within 1 lakh for the whole processing. But Canada, like I mentioned, if you are on the PR, it will cost 3 to 5 lakhs max, not above that. If you're going on student visa, whatever the fees is for first year, let's say 5 lakhs or 15 lakhs or 17 lakhs, that is the amount that you have to have right now in hand in order to start your processing. And working as a dentist, that also matters. Some people cannot just work in a different profession. So those people, if you're looking into Canada, you have to compromise on that for a few years, the initial years. But I'm telling you, it's definitely worth it. You can always work as a dentist in Canada after a few years. But initially, there will be a struggle, obviously. But once you start working as a dentist, the pay is awesome. Like Canada is one of the countries that pay the dentist really high. So you'll have a good life after that. So one more thing I would like to suggest is, see, you can have both actually. So like what I did, I planned to go to the Gulf, and because Gulf is the closest place that we can actually go and faster place, that it's not too expensive as well. And then from there, I was planning to work in the Gulf for a few years, and then from there I'll go to Canada, because I know the Canada process will take you around one or 1.5 years. So aram se I'll plan and go. That is what I thought to do. So even you can plan this if you would like to. Okay, so again, you can just take a screenshot of this, whatever I've told, the comparison between Gulf and Canada. You can take this, analyze yourself and find out what you want to do or where you want to go, plan ahead, plan long term. See, Gulf also, right, the thing is, it's kind of deteriorating. Gulf is pretty much saturated, which is why as soon as I got my PR or our PR, I would like to help dentists to go to Canada, which is much safer place, or it's actually a safer plan, the Canada one. Okay, so I hope you have taken the screenshot here, and that's it from my side. So you can take down this number and find me there. If you have any doubts regarding this, I will be more than happy to help you out. Okay, and see, those who are planning for Canada PR, okay, whether be it the student visa or the direct visa, I had mentioned about all those the criteria, right? You cannot change your education, you cannot change your years of experience suddenly. But one thing you can and you must work on is your IELTS score. So this is like literally the crucial part in any of the processing when you're planning to go to the Western country, not just Canada, okay, even US, you need a good IELTS score. So we have Dr. Nisha Thomas with us, who will be helping us understand, a little about IELTS, and she will help us go through it and literally get a good idea about IELTS. So I'll hand over the session to Dr. Nisha in a minute.
Hello, everyone. I hope I'm audible to all of you. Thank you, Dr. Maika. I feel actually privileged to be a part of this webinar today. This is my first webinar, so please kindly forgive me if I have any flaws. Okay, so I'm going to take something about IELTS. Okay, anything that you want to know about IELTS, I'll be explaining in this seminar today. Okay, so IELTS is actually, as you just where in the previous seminar, it's the first step that you have to take for your future abroad. So be it a student, whether you want to work or whether you want to apply for PR, you have to clear the IELTS first. Okay. Now I'm going to cover a few topics today. We're going to discuss the who's, the what's, the why's of IELTS. Okay. So first, coming to what is IELTS. So I think most of you would be familiar with what IELTS is, but for those who are not that familiar, okay, it's one of the most universally accepted English tests. Okay, so IELTS is actually a test that assesses your English language proficiency. So for all those who are non-native English speakers, so that is a must for everyone. That is especially for us in India and other countries. If you want to move to the US, the UK, Canada, Australia, you have to give the English exam. Okay, that is IELTS. And there are 4 modules in the IELTS, that is listening, reading, writing, and speaking. Now, there are 2 types of the IELTS exam, that is academic IELTS and general IELTS. So for those who want to go on a student visa, you have to write the academic IELTS. Okay, and there is a scoring criteria that it is marked out of 9. Okay, there is a band score of 9. So for students, you have to get at least 6.5 overall. And each individual band should not be less than 6. That is for your listening, reading, writing, and speaking. You have to get at least 6 or more. Now, for those who want to work or migrate to a different foreign country, you have to give the general IELTS exam. And there is a must that you have to score at least 7. Okay, that is listening is a must. You have to score 8. And the rest of the modules, that is reading, writing, and speaking, you have to score 7. It also depends on different countries and different courses. Like suppose you're applying for a different type, if you want to go for a management course or if you want to continue the dentist course, okay, you have to visit each university website and see what requirements they're asking for. Some universities for student visa, they ask you for 6.5. Some universities, that is some top universities, ask you for getting 7 or more. Okay, so you have to visit each university website in each country to know the minimum requirement. Now, talking about the modes, like since the pandemic, there is a computer-based exam right now that is available. Okay, so you can either opt for paper-based or computer. If you are good in typing and all that, you can definitely go for computer-based exam. Or if you want to stick on with the, the normal or the usual one, you can go for the paper-based exam. And who needs IELTS? So as I told you in the beginning, be it a student, if you want to go for work visa, if you want to be a PR, okay, whatever it is, a definite thing, a must is IELTS, okay? English requirement is a must. And most people ask why IELTS or why do you have to give this exam? Okay, there are several factors that you can see. There's a lot of benefits of, giving the IELTS exam and getting a good score. Okay, the first and foremost thing, it is accessible in, more than 140 countries in the world. Okay, then accuracy as in there is no unfairness in the exam. It is actually graded by professional examiners. Okay, so you don't have to worry about whether it is fair or not fair. It is definitely a fair exam. Okay, and opportunities will increase. So the better your IELTS score, the better the chances of getting into universities or, your dream company or any organization, your opportunities will increase if you have a great IELTS score. Then adding weight to your PR process. So like we discussed in the previous seminar, there was a criteria for your CRS score. Okay, so the more you get the IELTS score, the more your CRS score will increase. So definitely this is a must for you, to practice well and then give the exam. And now, why do you need a good IELTS score? So the same thing as I told you before, for students, if you want to get into top international universities, okay, like the University of Oxford, Cambridge, and Harvard. So depending on the top universities, the score will also increase. So that's why if you visit the university website, whichever you want to, apply for, in there, it will be written if you want to get 7 or 6.5. Okay, so the more you have the IELTS score, the greater are the chances for you to apply into these top universities. And the same applies for work or migration. If you want to get into top organizations or companies, if you have a better IELTS score, you have a better chance of getting. Now, for the PR process, like for express entry, there are several criteria that we discussed before. That is your age, your education, your experience, and all that. That will determine your CRS score for express entry, whether you can get an invitation to apply or not. Okay, so I'll give you 2 examples between 2 people. Okay, both are single applicants and their age is 29. They have a master's degree. Since our dentistry or BDS is considered as a master's degree, so it is a master's option. So you have a higher score for that. Then if you have 3 years or more experience, you have the maximum score. So if it is less than 3, there will be a lesser score. So if you can see in both the cases, both of them have the same qualifications, but the only difference here is the English or the IELTS score. Okay, so the profile 1 person has got a CLB 8. That is the Canadian language benchmark. That is, they have got listening 7.5, reading, writing, and speaking as 6.5. Okay, but the other candidate has got listening 8 and reading, writing, and speaking as 7. So just by the difference in IELTS score, the total CRS points has, increased for the profile 2 person. Okay, 387 for profile 1 and 469 for profile 2. So there is a difference of 82 points just because of the IELTS. So you have to understand how important our IELTS is. You cannot change your age, you cannot change your education, and you cannot change your experience. You will have to keep working for that if you want an extra degree, or if you want to keep working, if you want to increase the number of experience. So the only thing that you can change is your IELTS. Okay, so the more the IELTS score, the more will be your CRS points and the more your chances to get an invitation to apply. Now, where and when can you give the IELTS? Okay, so there are in India, we're talking only about India today. So there are about 75 test cities in India, okay, that you can apply. And if you're opting for a paper-based exam, 4 times a month, the exam is conducted, which is a fixed day. And if you're opting for computer-based, you can choose any particular day, like there is 7 days a week, almost every day and 3 times a day, the exam is conducted for computer-based, so that you can opt at your convenience. Now, which countries accept IELTS? As I told you before, almost all around 140 countries accept IELTS. So the major countries that we're talking were Canada, UK, US, and Australia. Okay, so you can give the IELTS exam and you can apply to any country that you want. Now, the last topic here is how to prepare for the exam. Okay, you can go for self-preparation, you can go for offline or online coaching. So there are people who are maybe an intermediate level English speaker or maybe a basic or a master. So whatever level of English speaking you have, you still need to prepare for the IELTS exam because it is not an easy exam to crack. You would at least need 1 month or a 2-month preparation to clear the IELTS exam. Okay, so the more you practice, the more you're confident, the better will be your IELTS score. Okay, so if you are confident enough that you know the format of the exam, you can definitely do a self-preparation, or else you can go to an offline coaching center. Okay, that you have to visit in those centers, but it depends because of the pandemic, you know, offline coaching centers were not that available. So that's when online coaching came into place. So online coaching, the benefits are you can sit at your home at your convenience, you can attend the classes, okay, online whenever you want and whatever time you want. So that is the benefit of online coaching. So I'll just talk a little bit about the coaching that I'm taking currently, that is English digitally. It's a completely online IELTS platform, okay, where at your convenience, you can learn, you can take a 1-month course, you can take a 2-month course. If you want to extend, you can do that. Okay, and the special thing about the course that I'm taking is I give personalized or individual attention to people. So if you want to be in a group, you can take the batch option, or if you want to be in an individual session, you will have one-on-one sessions for the IELTS training. Okay, so that is the difference between the coaching that I'm taking here. Okay, so that's it about IELTS. All that I've cleared, I hope you have all understood. And if you have any doubts, you can definitely contact me individually. I've shared my number and personal information. Okay, I'll be happy to help you. And both of us, we are here because we have gone through this process. So we are actually ready to help all of you out there. Okay, yeah, so thank you. Thank you so much. We have time for Q&A. If you want to pop in some questions, we are happy to clear it now.
Okay, before that, I will also be putting a poll. We can quickly just answer the question here. And meanwhile, thank you so much, Nisha Doctor. I hope you all have a good understanding of IELTS. So as we said, see, IELTS is literally the first step. Okay, me and Nisha Doctor, when we tried to apply for the Canadian whole thing itself, we started with IELTS because we wanted to know if we get a good IELTS score, that means we can apply for the PR. Otherwise, it's like all of this plans is like completely waste if we are not able to score for IELTS. So I would say that you must focus on your IELTS score before even you know, right after you decide whether you want to take the direct PR or the student visa. So you can fill in the poll, and then yes, you can ask your questions. Just type in the type box here, in the chat box here, and we'll try to pick these questions and answer it for you. Okay, Dr. Salma Arif has asked, is it possible to apply for express entry with a provisional MDS certificate? No, not actually, because see, the countries outside India, right, they actually don't consider our provisional degree, and it's always better to be safe than sorry. So I would suggest that you wait for your original MDS degree and start applying for the express entry. But meanwhile, see, express entry, I haven't explained the step-by-step process because that would take another 2 hours just to explain express entry itself. So there is a lot of steps that you have to go through. So initially, what you'll be doing is you have to get your WES. WES means you have to get your education equivalency. So we submit our MDS degree equivalency document. We send it to all the way to Canada, and they will find out and say that whether our degree is equivalent to their professional degree. So that time we need to have your original degree certificate. And after that, obviously, you need to get your IELTS score. So doctor, like meanwhile, or by the time you're waiting for your original degree, what you can do is you can start practicing or preparing for IELTS. And then right after you get your degree, you can send your documents for your equivalency process. That is the WES equivalency process, and then after that you can get into the pool system for the express entry. Okay, so I hope I have answered your question there. Rest of you can still, okay. Yes, doctor, you can ask. You can just type it there, Dr. Atul. Meanwhile, I'll be just checking my Instagram account where I had posted a space where you can ask questions. So Dr. Arshia Praveen had asked, what is the scope for dentists and how can we move to Canada? So that I have answered here. So dentist, I'll just repeat it once again. You have two pathways. You can either go as a student visa or you can go as a PR candidate. So if you're choosing to go as a PR candidate or a student visa, both ways, you cannot work as a dentist directly. You will have to clear the dental licensing exam through the two pathways that I have mentioned, either through all the 5 licensing exam or through the DDS pathway. And then you can work as a dentist. And the best part is, yes, dentist is the highest paid job in Canada. So once you get that stage, then it's really cool. Okay, another question. Is Indian BDS degree recognized there? Yes, yes. So if you are in a good college, or deemed university, Indian degree is recognized, but you're not allowed to work in the country unless you clear their exam. So it's not like Gulf where you can directly, write the exam with just one licensing exam. You have a 3, or like as I said, you have a 5-stage exam which you have to clear, and then you can, work as a dentist. So Indian BDS is recognized, but not enough to allow you to work directly. So Dr. Farisa had asked how to migrate to Canada after BDS. So this is your option, again, student visa or the direct PR. Yeah, someone has asked, what is the approximate cost for BDS? Again, depending on which university or college you are taking the degree, I think it costs a fortune, literally, to get into the DDS course. But the best part is you get loan for the DDS course if you are a PR candidate. And DDS is allowed only for PR candidate. You cannot go as a student visa and apply for the DDS degree. So unless and until you are a PR, you cannot do a DDS. And if you are doing, it's actually good if you can get a loan to do the course. So otherwise, I think a DDS costs around 1 crore in Indian rupees. I'm not very much sure about that, but yes, it's a huge amount. Okay, Dr. Gayatri Vijayan has asked, hi ma'am, would you be able to suggest some courses that can be done in Australia? Dr. Australia, I am not very much sure of how to or about the courses there, because I myself haven't tried for that pathway. But I am hoping that whatever courses I've mentioned in Canada, right, it should be there in Australia. All the courses that we are eligible to take, like, masters in hospital administration, public health, and even I think you should be able to do dental hygienist course, which I think many of the dentists go into dental hygienist course because you get to scale at least, okay, not do dental assisting literally. So you will have to find some other sources if you want to look for Australia. Okay, Dr. Atul has asked for Gulf, a question for Gulf. What will be your role towards us, like whether you will be supporting towards PR process or only towards exam process? Also, I heard dentists cannot go through PNP program. How genuine that information is? Okay, so I'll answer one by one. So what I help you with currently is with information, because as I mentioned, see, one of the doctors approached an agent and they actually asked her to take dental assistant course. So the question is, you can work as a dental assistant directly. You don't need to have a course for that. But dental hygienist, to work in Canada, you need to have a degree, Canadian degree, and you cannot work directly. But so it would make sense if she had taken dental hygienist course instead of assistant. Okay, so don't be misled by information. So that is where I would like to help you all currently, and in future, hopefully, I will try to give you. I already do coaching for Gulf exams, all of the Gulf exams. I'm planning to do coaching for Canadian exam as well once I clear my exam. Okay, so that is in the far future if everything goes well. And the second question also, I heard dentists cannot go through PNP program. How genuine is that information? So it is true, because see, PNP program, they actually put out a notice for, like, other professionals like HR candidates and others. But dentists, I haven't seen much, but maybe Northern Atlanta side, they put PNP. So I would say don't look into PNP pathway. If any agent is trying to force you into PNP, try to stick to student visa or direct PR if you have good experience. It's much easy. You don't need a PNP to get into Canada. You can get through direct PR, and it's way too easy. Only that factor is you need a good IELTS score. Otherwise, thanks to our degree, BDS degree is a very high scored degree in Canada, so we can definitely get through the direct PR or the express entry, also known as the federal skilled worker, FSW draw. You can get through that. Now, another question, as a general dentist, what all treatment exactly one need to know or need to do any specialization course prior to practice in the Gulf? Okay, so this is a Gulf question. See, as I said, Gulf is pretty much saturated now. This is an honest review, but still people do survive. Now, this depends on where you're getting the job. See, I know clinics in the Gulf who still do amalgam treatments. Okay, then now that is because the patients there are basically labor patients who work in industries. Okay, they cannot afford to do root canal treatments or Veni treatments. So they just want something that will clear their problem and they can pay the least. So they still do amalgam treatments there. And on the other hand, if you're getting into a clinic where it is located in a city area, let's say Dubai or Doha, there they actually are looking forward for more treatments like veneers and good aesthetic dentistry. People come in for implant, and there is this famous term called Hollywood smile. So a Filipino will walk into your clinic and say, do you have Hollywood smile here? So you should be ready for the veneers. So depending on where you're getting into, obviously a course in certified course in veneers or aesthetic dentistry will help. Implantology is really good. But see, I know doctors who literally take like 5 to 6 courses. They do laser, they do aesthetic, they do implant, but at the end of the day, they are good at nothing. Okay, they don't know implant, they don't know aesthetic dentistry properly. So take one, focus on that, and then you apply for jobs where that skill is particularly needed. Okay, if you are an aesthetic dentist, apply in good hospitals, apply in famous cities. But on the other hand, if you are good at extraction, you're good at fillings, apply in a place where it is a bit more rural area, because they need dentists like that. They don't want someone with aesthetic skills. So totally depends on where you're going or where you're landing the job. And another thing I would suggest is, see, with your existing skills, that is basic good extraction, RCT. And RCT is not an endodontist thing, it is a general dentist thing. So we need to be good at RCTs. Both anteriors and molars, except for, has something gone wrong? Am I audible still? Am I audible? I would like to know. The screen, okay, thank you. Thank you guys. Okay, so this screen just went crazy. Okay, so if you are going to the Gulf, right, I would suggest whatever skills you have, polish that, go to the Gulf, work in some clinic and see what they want exactly. If they want aesthetic dentistry, go to a course where it is recognized in your Gulf. Some of the courses that we do in India, right, we have the certificate, but it's not valid in the Gulf. So there is no point in doing everything from India and going to the Gulf. So go there, get a job, and then you decide what course you want. If possible, do courses within UAE itself. Okay. Okay, so someone has asked, what is your opinion on Oman vacancy? Okay, Dr. Oman, there has been a huge conflict. Okay, so Oman, like unlike other exams, if you have the theory exam, you have 150 MCQ question. If you clear that exam, then you have to go through Viva exam. Okay, so Viva, they stopped conducting Viva in between, but now it's happening. So if you clear Viva, then you have to get the job. So Oman, it's not bad, but still you will be able to identify the kind of giving priority for Omani dentist, that is the local dentist. So if you already have your family there, like your spouse already there, or you have a childhood connection there, then it's fine, provided that you can get a job there. But otherwise, if you are like a complete fresher, you don't have any connections in Oman, it is better to try UAE or Qatar, maybe other countries as well. Try that. Now, one good thing about UAE is that you have something called golden visa. I did not mention that in our webinar. Golden visa is something where you get visa directly for 10 years straight. And during the 10 years, you don't have to depend on any employer for your visa. You are free to move into next jobs, provided you are on the agreement, okay? Because any job you get into the Gulf, you will be on agreement base. So agreement matlab, you will be like 1 year agreement, and you cannot literally break that agreement. You have to finish that tenure and then move on to the next job. But they won't actually, crucify you saying that you don't have a visa and we cannot provide you visa if you have the golden visa. So that is a good thing about UAE. And what I saw is there is a huge, like I said, there is a huge surplus of dentists in UAE already. But UAE is a country where they will never kick you out, because UAE literally survives on foreigners. Okay, they survive on tourism, so they will never do anything that will kick you out of the country. They will maximum try to keep you whether you have a job or not. So other countries, like I said, Omanization, Bahrainization and Saudiization will come in the far future or near future. I have no idea, but UAE and Qatar, I don't think so, it won't come. Okay, so Dr. Shah has asked how many months of funds record we need to show for FSW. So this one, doctor, what agent suggests is that like you need to keep 6 months fund, but see, at least 1 month is fine, your FD, what you have to show. So currently they have pushed it up to 9 lakhs. During my time, that is 2 years back, it was only 8 lakhs. Now it is 9 lakhs that you have to show as a fixed deposit, and keep it, when you enter the draw, it should be at least 2 months old. 6 is the ideal one, but if you have to quickly arrange all the amount, you can keep it at least for 2 months. So ideally, we would say, like, if you are starting your IELTS preparation, start putting in your FD and close and get the whole rest for FD during that time itself. Okay, another famous question, Dr. Salma Aris. Can I apply as a general dentist and use my 3 years of experience as work experience? 3 years of MDS as work experience, and then get my specialist certificate from Canada through the 6 months DDS course you mentioned. Okay, now that is a tricky question. I'm not sure about this, doctor, because yes, I think you actually can do. You can do, because there is an option for the MDS exam, right? That is the first one, DSCKE. That one is a specialist assessment exam, which is pretty much similar to the second exam of general dentists. So I've heard so many dentists, what they do is they write the AFK exam, okay? Then they write the ACJ exam, and once they clear both the exam, then they apply for the DSCKE exam. Now, another thing, doctor, see, if you Canada application, you don't have to show your 3 years experience. You don't have to show experience at all. All you need is your degree, if you can show your BDS degree, you can show your MDS degree. Experience is not even required for applying for the Canadian dentistry. So you don't have to worry entirely about that. But the good thing is you can apply both the exams, the general dentist and the specialist exam. How? Do AFK, do the second part ACJ, then you apply for the specialist assessment exam, that is the DSCKE exam. Okay. Meanwhile, you clear the general dentist, all of the exams, start working as a general dentist. Okay. And along with working as a general dentist, you get into the training program of MDS, that is NDSC, I think, for specialist, into a college for the 12-month training program, right? And then you get the specialist license. So in case you don't get into the specialty, you still have your general dentist license. So yeah, that is a really good question with a really good answer, I think. Can you enlighten the process of getting golden visa? Any reliable source I can approach for golden visa? I think we have put a blog on golden visa in our Gulfy Dentist website. So it's basically www.thegulfydentist.com. You'll see the blog session. You can see I have put a link also, I think, where you can directly apply for the golden visa. And you don't need to have any agents, but obviously you also have agents to do that for you. But directly also you can apply. And golden visa, every dentist is eligible to apply. See, they're giving visa for, again, skilled laborers, I think, like Canada. So this will include doctors, dentists, business professionals, investors. Okay, the people that are good for the country that they consider. Okay, so these people, they are providing golden visa. As a dentist, you need to have a working license. Okay, so right after you clear your exam, you cannot apply for golden visa. But if you're a working dentist inside UAE, then you can apply for the 10-year golden visa. I think there is a span of, you need to have 3 months experience in order to apply for golden visa. But other than that, it's pretty much an easy process. Okay, do we have any more questions? Okay, someone on Instagram had asked, like, job opportunities as a dentist, or is it better option to opt for studies? So again, I think I have answered this. You cannot work directly as a dentist in Canada. You can work as close as a dental receptionist and dental assistant, and that's it. So any other profession or job, you have to work in any other field, okay, and not dentist. And if you want to work as a dentist, you have to go through the whole licensing processing or take DDS. And then if you want to go on student visa, you just have to spend a little more, that is first year fees. But you will have a job in that course that you are taking, the Canadian degree that you are taking. So like I said, I have given you all the pros and cons and goods and bads of applying for both student and direct visa. You can choose, analyze yourself and choose what is best for you. And if you still have doubts, you can contact me. I have given my number. You can WhatsApp me or contact me to find out what is best for you. Thank you so much, Dr. Shah. And do you have a group regarding Dubai vacancies? Yes. Doctor, what I'm doing is I already am training students or doctors for Gulf licensing exam for the past 2 years now. It's very much new. But what happened is many of my students are still jobless in the Gulf. So that really hurts. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to partner up with one of the job consultant agents, someone whom I can trust, who will be able to provide jobs for my students in the Gulf. Okay, so currently we are trying to tie up with hospitals in Dubai where they can hold spots for our dentists. And it's not like, the local cheap jobs where, see, in Gulf for a general dentist with 2 years experience in their home country, the basic salary that they provide is as low as 4,000 or 5,000, and even less is also there. So I'm not looking into those jobs. We are only looking into jobs where the starting salary is 6,000 onwards. But obviously, these are not free jobs, these are paid jobs. And if anyone is interested in that, we can help you get into those hospital jobs with good salary. Good as in the basic salary of 6,000 and more than that. If you are an experienced professional, obviously you should get 8,000, which is okay, decent salary in today's time. So yeah, I'm trying to work that out currently. So we just started with few doctors only as of now. And yes, I will be providing the recorded session. This is a recorded one. So I'll be putting up mostly on our YouTube or Facebook. You can find it there. I'll be putting up in my status also. You can just go through it. So do you have any questions for Dr. Nisha as well, if anything about IELTS? Dr. Nisha, do you have anything to add on along with this?
I guess you have covered all the topics.
Yeah. Okay, so that's good. So we'll wind up this session. Again, we are more than happy to help you. We both applied, started with this dream 2 years back. It really took a very long time, but now I feel it's definitely worth it, and really excited to go to Canada. And if you need any help, whether it be it here or whether we are in Canada, we'll be really there to help you out and any of the process. So feel free to contact us, reach out to us. You have our contact numbers. You can just WhatsApp us and then reply whenever we are free to. Okay, so that winds up our session, and good luck every day. Bye-bye.
Thank you all.